There are 2 sticks lying across my hands right now. I cut both of them this morning back in the hickory woods behind my house in eastern Oklahoma. They are still green. If you snapped a twig off either one, it would bleed sap. There is no glue on them, and there is no hardware, just a few wraps of cordage, one near each tip, and one thick wrap in the middle where the 2 sticks cross. And before the sun goes down this evening, these 2 green sticks are going to put an arrow into a target at 15 yards. Hard enough to matter. Now, anybody who has ever tried to carve a bow out of a fresh-cut stave knows how that story usually ends. The bow cracks by supper, or it bends over and stays bent, and the whole afternoon goes in the burn pile. So why does this one work? Stay with me to the end, because the answer is not strength. And it is not some rare wood. It is one specific thing that happens inside a green stick the very first day you bend it. Once you hear it, you will understand exactly why the old ones built this bow out of 2 sticks instead of 1, and nobody ever explains that part. I'm Wes Kingfisher. I'm 64 years old. I'm of Cherokee heritage, and I was raised by my grandmother, Ada, in these same eastern Oklahoma hills where I still live today. She taught me the plants and the kitchen. My grandfather and my uncles taught me the woods. 40 years on the powwow trail, from the northern plains to the desert Southwest, taught me the rest. The old ones never wrote this down, so listen close. Walk into a sporting goods store today and stand in front of the archery wall, a compound hunting bow with the pulleys and the sights and the camouflage paint will run you $400 on the low end and well past $1,000 on the high end. Even a plain fiberglass recurve costs a couple hundred by the time it's strung. And the day a limb splits or a cable frays, that expensive machine is a wall decoration because there is nothing on it you can fix with what's in your shed. Now, the usual advice is to carve yourself a longbow from a single stave, and that is a fine craft. I have made them, but there is a part those videos leave out. A proper self-bow wants seasoned wood, cut and stacked and dried for the better part of a year before a knife ever touches it. Try that same carving on a stick you cut this morning, and the wood will quit before you do. That trap catches nearly everybody who tries. Our people up in the North Woods, the Penobscot and their neighbors, worked out a way around that trap a long time ago. The first one I ever held was at an intertribal gathering years back, where an old man from Maine walked me through it beside the fire, and I have built them ever since. It is the easiest bow I know how to make, and it is the only design I trust with wood that was still a tree at breakfast. I will come back to why it takes 2 sticks instead of 1, because that is the whole secret, and I promise you it is not the reason you're thinking. Now, this bow has its own page in a book I put together called The Native American Way. 101 remedies, skills, and recipes that kept my people alive for 10,000 years. It is everything my grandmother, Ada, and the elders of Indian country handed me around 1,000 fires, written down plain, step by step, before it's gone. The backyard plants the old ones used and exactly how they use them. The teas and salves from Ada's kitchen, the wild foods, and when to gather them. Food preservation the old way, fire and shelter and water skills, and the recipes that fed the people through every winter. I priced it at $17, marked down from $47. That is less than 1 tank of gas for knowledge that took 10,000 years of testing. And if it saves you a single trip to that archery wall, it has paid for itself 20 times over. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, let's go find 2 sticks. Picture the leaf springs stacked under the bed of an old pickup truck. One steel strap alone would sag and snap under a full load, but 2 straps clamped together share the work, and that truck rides for 30 years. That is this bow. One long stick, about 5 feet, one shorter stick, about 4 feet. You lay them together at the middle, lash the handle tight, and bind the tips of the short stick to the limbs of the long one, so every time you draw the string, both sticks bend together and neither one bends far. That is the whole machine. Now let's talk about the wood, because the trees in your woods are not all equal. You want hickory if you can get it. Hickory is the wood my people made everything from handles and hoops and bows, because it bends long before it breaks. White oak works, ash works, elm works. What you do not want is pine, cedar, cottonwood, or willow. Those are soft or brittle, and a bow made from them is a promise the wood can't keep. Look for a sapling or a straight branch about as thick as your thumb, an inch across or a hair more. It needs to be straight for its whole length, and it needs to be clean. No knots, no side branches, no woodpecker holes, no cracks, because every knot is a door a break can walk through. The long stick should reach from the ground to about your chin. Call it 5 feet for most folks. 5 feet. The short stick should come to about the middle of your chest. Call it 4 feet. 5 and 4. That's the pair. If you find a standing dead sapling that's still solid, with the bark tight and no rot in the wood, that's even better than green. But green works fine with this design, and that is the entire point of it. One more thing, and this is the old rule my uncles held me to. Cut from a crowded stand where the saplings are choking each other. Take the 2 you need and leave the rest to grow. The land gives you everything. You just have to know what you're looking at. Now, before you shave anything, you have to learn your bow's 2 faces. Hold the long stick like you're aiming it at the target. The side facing away from you is called the back. The side facing you is called the belly. Back away, belly toward you. And here's the one rule that outranks every other rule today. You never cut into the back. Not a notch, not a nick, not a whittle to pretty it up. The back keeps its wood fibers running whole from tip to tip, right under the bark. Cut through those fibers even once and you have cut the rope that holds the whole bow together. There is a reason for that rule, and it is the very same reason this bow uses 2 sticks. So hold that thought, because we are getting close to it. Peel the bark off gently with your thumbnail or the flat of your knife blade, and take your time. There is no rush. All your knife work happens on the belly, starting about 8 inches out from the middle. Shave the belly side thinner as you move toward each tip, so each limb tapers like a fishing rod. Thick in the middle, slim at the tips, then do the same to the short stick. Shave a little, flex it, look at it, and shave a little more, because a knife takes wood off a whole lot faster than it puts wood back. Time to marry the 2 sticks together. Lay the short stick against the belly of the long stick so their middles line up and the short stick's tips point down each limb. For cord, plain paracord from the hardware store works fine, and so does tarred bank line from the fishing aisle. If you want it the old way, the inner bark of that same hickory, twisted into cordage, will hold like it was made for the job, because it was. Start at the middle. Wrap the handle tight, wrap after wrap, until you have covered about 4 inches. 4 inches of wrapping, about the width of your hand. Pull every single wrap hard enough to bury it a little, because a loose handle turns into a rattle, and a rattle turns into a wobble. Tie it off with 2 half hitches and tuck the tail under. Then move out to the tips of the short stick. Lash each tip of the short stick snug against the limb of the long stick. A dozen tight wraps at each spot will do it. When you're finished, the 2 sticks should feel like one thick, stubborn piece of wood in your hands. Grab the handle and flex the whole thing gently against the ground. You should feel both sticks pushing back at you together. If one of them shifts or clicks, your lashing is loose. Rewrap it now, not after the string goes on. Now, the string notches, which bowyers call nocks, measure 1 inch down from each tip of the long stick and cut a shallow notch on each side of the stick, 1 inch from the tip. side cuts only. Remember the rule. The notch wraps around the sides and the belly, and it never crosses the back. For a string, that same bank line or a length of paracord will get you shooting today, and a strip of rawhide or twisted nettle cordage is the 10,000-year version. Tie a loop in one end and seat it in the top nocks. Tie the bottom end with a knot you can adjust. The old measure for the gap is your own fist with the thumb stuck out. Brace the bow by stepping through it slow and careful. Bend it against your leg and slide the loop into place. Set the string so the space between the handle and the string is one fist plus a thumb, which comes to about 6 or 7 inches. 6 to 7 inches. Closer than that, and the string will slap your wrist and shoot lazy. Wider than that, and you are straining the limbs for nothing. Before the first arrow, give it the floor test. Put the bottom tip on the ground, hold the handle, and press the top limb away from you while you watch the curve. Both limbs should bend in a smooth, even arc, like a smile. If one spot stays stiff and straight, take a few strokes off the belly right there, on the belly only, and check the curve again. If one spot hinges sharp, leave it alone and let the rest of the limb catch up. Draw it easy the first few times. Pull the string back no more than 20 inches to start. That is 20 inches, about to the corner of your mouth, not some long draw back past your ear. Treat it right. This little bow will take a squirrel or a rabbit at 15 yards all day long, and it will keep doing it for weeks. 2 more rules, and they are not optional. Never let the string go without an arrow on it. That is called a dry fire, and it can crack any bow ever made, including the $400 ones on that wall. And never point it at anything you're not willing to put a hole in. A bow is a tool, same as a rifle, and my uncles taught me both of them with the same sentence. Now, remember that one thing I told you happens inside a green stick the very first day you bend it? It is time you knew. Bend any stick, and 2 things happen at the same moment. The back of the curve stretches, and the belly of the curve gets squeezed. Wood fibers are strong as rope when you stretch them, and that is exactly why the back must stay whole from tip to tip, and why one cut across it snaps the rope. But the squeeze is a different story. Dry, seasoned wood can take that squeeze and spring back from it over and over for years. Green wood cannot. Green wood is still full of water, and when you crush its belly fibers, they fold like wet cardboard, and folded fibers do not stand back up. Bowyers say the bow takes a set. It follows the string. It goes limp and dead, usually inside one day. That is the thing that happens inside a green stick the first day you bend it. And that is what kills every fresh-cut one-stick bow anybody ever carved. Now, look at what the old ones did about it. Lash a second stick on, and every draw gets shared between the 2. Each stick bends only about half as far as it would alone, and half the bend means the belly never gets squeezed past the point it can spring back from. The 2 sticks do not make the bow twice as strong. They make each stick half as stressed, and that is the whole difference between a bow that dies by supper and a bow that hunts all season. Nobody on that archery wall worked that out. Our people did, with no equations and no engineers. 10,000 years of testing. That's the guarantee on this one. And that right there is the kind of thing my grandmother's generation handed down for free, one pair of hands to the next. There are 101 of them in the Native American way, written out plain so they don't die with me. $17, marked down from $47. That is less than the string on one of those store-bought bows for the remedies, the skills, the wild foods, and the recipes that carried my people through 10,000 winters. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you're watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So that's the 2-stick survival bow, 2 green sticks, a handful of cord, one afternoon, and a rule about the back that you now understand better than most folks who've been shooting for years. Tell me in the comments where your people are from. And if there's native blood in your family line, like there is in so many American families, I'd be honored to hear the story. I read every single one. Next time, I'm going to show you how our people turned crooked river cane into hunting arrows straight as a sunbeam. And the whole trick is a bed of coals, a flat rock, and about 10 minutes of patience. Wado, my friends. That means thank you. Walk easy, and I'll see you down the trail.